Hey everyone, it's Ben with Yonder. Today we're outside the 7th Avenue showroom in Newport Beach, and we're gonna go select a couch and see how it compares to competitors like Lovesac and other modular sofas. So come on in and let's check it out. All right, so first impressions of the showroom, very nice layout, very modern, neutral tones. What really surprised me is the fabric. It doesn't really do it justice when you're on the website. I've gotten a lot of couches online sent to me, and this fabric is actually really soft. I know it looks kind of a little bit rougher, but this woven fabric feels amazing, and it's actually a chenille. The seats are cushier than I expected. They're not really stiff. You actually get some sink. So one of those where you can feel like you can spend some time here. I'm a tall guy. I think this is their standard size, but they also have a deep one. So I'm about 6'4". And as you can see, I'm probably a little bit too tall for this couch, but we can go over to some others. And I believe this one is their deep one. Yeah, so this is the extended seat, and this is a different type of fabric. This fabric's a little rougher, but obviously you can choose whatever fabric you want. And this is a deep seat. This is like amazing, especially for a tall guy like me. You've got the cushion, my legs, plenty of room. I'm actually leaning back to fit on here, but I don't normally sit like this, so I could always pull up another cushion, sit normal, or normally I'm lounging, so I'll come up here and just kind of lounge, and my wife likes that too. So I think we're gonna go with probably the deep seat. This is something we've been wanting for a long time, and as I've mentioned, these are modular, so you can mix and match. They have a little display here where you can configure these however you want, so whatever size space you have you can add or take, which I like. And then also, we tend to rearrange our furniture sometimes, depending on if we have guests or if we just get bored of it. So if you want to reconfigure this however you want to take away, add, maybe we could add on a separate sofa later. You can do all that stuff. So that's the beauty of these sofas. And then I've also been told that they do have storage seating. So we'll take a look at that next. Another nice feature that I haven't really seen much before on sectionals or couches is that these have a storage option. So we're always cramped for space, and it's nice to be able to just get things out of sight so our house looks a little bit cleaner. What you can add is storage. So basically you just take this off the Velcro, unzip it, and then you have access to a little lid here that you can lift up. And now you can store things like blankets, exercise equipment, whatever you want. And you can add this basically to each section of the couch. So that really adds up in terms of storage and getting rid of a lot of clutter in your house. And it couldn't be easier to access too. So very easy, just zip it right up. This is sort of a stretchy fabric, so you don't have to worry about getting it exact. And then again, this snaps on. You don't have to worry about the cushions scooting all over the place. Really smart design. So when we talk about construction, first off, there's a 10-year warranty with these couches, and they're made of solid Indonesian wood, so there's no particle board that's going to collapse. It's a real solid piece of furniture. You're going to get a lot of life out of it. And then in terms of construction of the cushions, basically it's a high-density foam core with a soft memory foam on top, so similar to like a basic mattress. And then above that, they're going to use a little bit of down alternative feel, so it is hypoallergenic, and it's just going to give it more of that traditional luxury feel. I do prefer down alternative, one, because it's more ethical and sustainable, but also because of that hypoallergenic factor. There's really no reason to use down much anymore. And then of course, if it is a cheap down, which a lot of them have because they want to just check that box to say it's down, you're going to get a lot of these feathers poking through. It's just a mess. To me, it's a little dirty. So this is just a really smart, clean design. Again, 10-year warranty. You've got the waterproof fabrics. Really can't go wrong with any of it. Great thing about 7th Avenue sofas is the fabrics is that they are water repellent and stain resistant. So no worries about spilling. You can throw these in the wash. This is their velvet, a very soft, probably the softest one they have, just really cozy and smooth. And then they also have their textured weave. This is probably the most kind of crisp feel, a little bit rougher, but more of a classic look. And then you have the chenille, which is sort of a mix between the two. So this is still very soft, but has more of a natural look to it. So multiple options, and of course, multiple colors to choose from. So really the sky's the limit in terms of configuration, but rest assured, don't worry about spilling or stains. These just wash right up, and great if you have any pets in the house too. Right now I'm on the Performance Velvet fabric, and this is by far my favorite fabric just because it is so soft. It just feels amazing, and this is stain resistant as well. So that is another added benefit. As you can see, these just Velcro to the seat, and then the cushions themselves actually have zippers, so you can unzip them if you'd like as well. These are really easy to unzip. Here you have the filling. So this chamber you can just remove, and then you would just throw this in the wash. There's really no reason to access this, but if you want, you can see where the fill is. What I've been told is that to replace these covers on a cushion, they're about $70 each, which is, in my mind, a steal. So like if they really get damaged, they have a dog that like chews into it or tears it up, scratches it, no worries. It's easily replaceable. So again, just more peace of mind when you buy this product. And good quality zippers here. You can tell that they're not going to bust loose. A lot of times companies will cheap out on that stuff. What I also like is you're really not fighting getting this in here. Yes, it's stuffed, but with a lot of them, you're really trying to force that in, and it's a battle. This is super easy. So because it's easy, chances are I'm going to be washing it more frequently. It's not going to feel like such a chore. And because we have 2 dogs and we get hair everywhere, my wife would appreciate that we can throw these in the wash, especially when we have company over and the house isn't going to smell like dog. So if you're in the mood for movie nights, or you have a lot of movie nights, or you just like to lounge to the extreme, you can get this configuration where it's just like a giant, I guess like a giant chair where you can crawl into, cozy up. And again, this is this nice velvet fabric, very soft. I love that it's configurable. If you spill anything on it, no worries. And if you want to switch it up and you have company over, you can just take out the center, move it to the left or right, and then you have a nice sectional as well. Just received our 7th Avenue sectional today via FedEx. It actually came in 20 pieces. We've got kind of a longer sectional with an ottoman, a storage ottoman. So we're going to set that up today. Really excited to see how the process goes. And we'll report back once we're done. today we are on my new 7th Avenue sectional, and I'm going to go over some of the benefits, all the features, what I like, maybe some things that annoy me a little, and really help you make a decision if it's the right sectional for you and if it's worth it. So let's get started. We were invited to try out the 7th Avenue sectional at their Newport Beach location. They have a showroom there. There's a few in California, and they're slowly expanding to other states. So if you're hesitant to just order blindly online, there may be a showroom near you. What I really liked is they had all sorts of configurations we could try out. And me being a tall person, I'm about 6'4", I really wanted a sectional that was deep enough. So we were able to confirm that this thing really would work for me. But the ordering process was smooth. They had a rep that would work with us. We were able to put together the configuration with these little blocks to make sure it fit our space, and we got the right depths for the right configuration, and all the pieces were just perfect. So there is some peace of mind when ordering this couch. It does come with a 10-day trial, but that is minus shipping, and this configuration came in about 20 boxes, so return shipping could be a bit costly. I would recommend that you make sure that configuration is correct. But they also do have a 30-day fabric exchange. So if you found that, look, this fabric isn't right for my room for whatever reason, there is the option to exchange it. And then they also do have a 12-month warranty against any manufacturer defects. So the package came in about 22 pieces via FedEx. Shipping times were actually pretty quick. From ordering to receiving only took about a couple weeks. Now, obviously, delivery times may vary depending on demand, but I was pleasantly surprised in how fast they were able to ship it. And they did require signature, obviously, because it is an expensive package, but just be ready for a lot of boxes. I had one of our workers come over to help me set this up. And one of the things I wish I could have done is, and this is my problem, we just dove right in and started unboxing. I think we were just really excited to get going. Instead, make sure you read the directions. It would be better if we just opened one box at a time and set up each piece so that we were able to match the right pieces with the right fabric, etc., instead of going back to trying to remember what goes where. But that said, it was still relatively simple. There are some great YouTube videos that we referred to occasionally to get us back on track and make sure we did everything right. But all in all, it only took a few hours to get everything set up. And I did end up kind of reconfiguring. The Ottoman was originally over to my left. We moved it closer to this side just because it just made more sense for the room. So just having that versatility right off the bat was great. You know, we didn't have to end up returning a whole couch. We just reconfigured it on the spot. So after we got everything set up, we did notice there was one missing back cushion, and it's kind of a bummer, but no big deal. We also got these extra pillows too, just to make up for it. But I emailed the company, they shipped it out right away, and it arrived in like 3 days. So that was wonderful, no questions asked, just sent it out. They knew what fabric it was, everything. So really, no problem right there. We did order a storage ottoman under here because this is where we put all our blankets. Normally they're draped all over the couch, but if we're having company, it's nice to get them out of the way. Super easy to do. Another hidden advantage is these Velcro. So a lot of other couches, the ottoman cushion kind of slides all over this place. This thing just kind of locks it in, makes it look nice and tight and clean. So to access the storage, super simple. Just unzip this mesh cover, and then it is on a hinge. There's a little strap here, and then you've got room. We've got blankets, but you can put whatever you want in here, obviously. In winter, we tend to be more blanket heavy, and just nice to get that out of the way. Now you could add more storage if you wanted, but this seems pretty adequate for our needs. I know if you're in a smaller house, it is nice to have that just to maybe get seasonal items in there that you don't use that often either. And then that just plops right on there. And like I said, doesn't move at all either. So great upgrade, really well thought out. Aside from the couch feeling great, it's also great quality. What I noticed is that it is, it's very solid. It's got a solid base, good springs under the cushions. Cushions are a good base density, so when you sit on it, you will get this feel that's very cushy on top, but you're going to hit this denser foam underneath. So you're going to get good support, and then it's just going to really cradle you. And that's what makes these couches feel just so soft and inviting. The other thing I noticed, or actually didn't notice, is there's really no off-gassing. It didn't seem like there was real cheap material that stunk. We set this thing up. You could sit on it right away. You would never know that this couch was brand new because it smelled off or anything. And then the fabric itself, it's a good quality. Cheaper fabrics, it's real thin. This is a thicker fabric. It's very intentional what they did. And then also just the way it's assembled to connect each unit together. The way they've measured the cushions, so it just all fits together well. You can tell this is going to last quite a while. Also, just keep in mind that these cushions are not flippable, so all of them will have this Velcro base, and that's, again, to keep things from slipping, keep everything in shape so you're not constantly scooting these cushions back. What I've noticed with other couch cushions I've had is when I'm sitting after a while, it's almost like a lounger where the cushion's out and I have to keep pushing it back. So in terms of, wear, you will notice, like if you're sitting on this thing all day, there will be some impressions, but really you just kind of fluff it up. And that's the nature of having a soft couch. There's really no way around that. If you want to avoid those impressions, obviously you're going to have to go a bit firmer, and that kind of defeats the whole purpose. So I was talking earlier about the springs. So those are found under here, and I'll just take this off. You can actually unzip this. And so there is foam above those springs, but this is what will also give it that extra sink. So you're not sitting on like a block per se. This has a lot of give to it, and that's going to give it that extra cushion. The other thing is to keep these individual units from separating, there are these connectors that you just screw into each side, and this will keep them from shuffling around. So being modular, it's nice, it's going to hold it together. Your furniture isn't going to shift. Now, we did have a cloud sofa previously, and one of the problems with that is it did require constant fluffing. I mean, you get out of that thing and you're just rearranging it. It's almost like a museum piece where it looks great if you don't use it, but the second you start using it and get up, it looks like a mess. This thing, we pretty much live here now. We just love it. And to be honest, it's kind of brought the family back because the last couch, it just wasn't big enough. So the kids would either fight over kind of their prime spot, and if they didn't get it, they'd just go back to their room. They wouldn't even bother wanting to watch a movie for us. But now, after homework's done at night or on the weekends, everybody just kind of gravitates towards this room, and it's really brought us together. So I just absolutely love it. This is by far my favorite couch, and we have gone through a lot of them over the years, not only with me reviewing them, but through all the various moves in our life. This one definitely takes the cake. So head on over to yonder.com. You'll get the latest discounts and our full review.